Hey, it's me, Soul. Welcome to the video. Now, today I'd like to rank the cards in the Arts of Atlantis mini box. Now, it came out relatively recently, and I've had time to marinate over the cards, stew over them, and really gather my thoughts on how good and or bad they are. So, I'd like to share them with you in a tier list format, ranking them against each other for no actual real competitive value, just my thoughts on the cards. Let's get started. First up is Kage Mucha Knight. It's a level 3 monster. If you summon a level 3, normal summon a level 3 monster specifically, you can special summon this card from your hand. That's not bad. That's not bad, I would say, right? It do rank 3 Xyz Summons, here we come. That being said, it released in the same box as the Gorgonic Xyz monster, and it can't be used as a material for it because it's a warrior monster. So while I like that, I like cards that help you with XYZ spam. This card has 0 attack and 0 defense, but it doesn't matter because it's an XZ. How do I feel about you? I thought we went over this, Saul. XZ summoning is my favorite mechanic, my favorite summoning mechanic. So for what you do in that regard, I'll put you in A. But the thing about it is there aren't that many generic good rank 3 XZs that we have, but we got a few in this box. So I guess A is okay for now. We'll bring you down later. And remember, this is ranking its value against the other cards within the box. Bear that in mind as we proceed. Brain Control was assumed by most to be a meme, right? Because it got eroded. Brain Control used to let you pay 800 life points and basically econ. You get to yoink one of your opponent's monsters that they control, any of their monsters, but it's been eroded so that you can only take monsters that can be normal summoned, which it vastly reduces what this card is actually useful for. That being said, I don't think it's completely irrelevant. You can't snatch any extra deck monsters, which is not good, but I don't think it's a D tier card. I feel like if you're in the lower ranks of rank, like the lower echelons of that realm, it can be fun to play around with. Like, I feel like it adds something, okay? Just it's in C tier, leave me alone. Condolence Puppet is basically just a foolish burial for the gimmick puppet archetype, which I really like. I think it's actually, despite being the SR card, I think it's actually the better support in the box. So I'm happy I got it. My wallet isn't. I'm in a lot of pain, emotionally and financially, but regardless of that fact, I feel like it's going to be good. I haven't actually had a chance to play test it yet, but just getting to send a card to the graveyard can be really good because, I mean, gimmick puppets have the ability to endlessly cycle the cards in the graveyard to help them draw cards. They can also, use them for XYZ summons, all that kind of stuff. So I mean, it can be interesting. It can be a useful way to play the deck. So I'm gonna put that in A. XYZ gift is garbage. It's if I went through the sewers underneath my house and I left this card there, I get a complaint from the city. This card is it's just, why do you exist? So this card, if you control 2 XYZ monsters, you can detach, I think, 2 materials from one of them. But if you wanted materials from one, then why did you require me to have 2? Anyway, you do that, and then I don't even remember what you get if you do it. Oh, you get to draw 2 cards for the the 4 cards that you used to make these 2 monsters, and counting the monsters themselves, 6, right? So 6 resources, which might just be a useless endeavor now because you've detached the materials. Oh, but don't worry about it. You have those. You have 2 cards, so it's fine. Digvorzik, the King of Heavy Industry. Now, that name, I hope I've said it right. I probably haven't. It's disgusting. This is the best card in the box. Fight me. I need to stop telling people to fight me. God damn. Anyway, this card is so fun to use in Chronometers. I've had time to play around with it, and in my opinion, it's one of the most fun things to come out of the box, right? You get 5 level 4. I'm so bad at numbers. 3 level 5 monsters on the field. You can make this card, then once per turn detach 1 material from this card, and you mill the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck. So you're milling your opponent's deck. Alright, cool, that's fine, that's fun. Now for each monster that you mill to the graveyard, you get to non-targeted destroy any card of theirs that's on the field, right? That is amazing, and it's got a massive body at 3,200. It outpowers a Blue Eyes, right? I really like that. But it is a heavy resource investment, so not many decks could do it. I like Chronometers because they can do it really easily. So because Chronometers are like the featured deck of the box, I'm willing to put that in S tier because it's one of the best things you're gonna find in here. One-Eyed Edgelord. 3 level 4 monsters. Now you get to detach a material, and then if your opponent has an XYZ monster, you can copy that monster's effect, which, I mean, in some ways, I see where they're going with this, right? I see the value of this card, right? Your opponent has an XYZ monster that you don't have. Maybe you're a free-to-play player and they have Malevolent Sin, or they have a rank 6 monster whose effect that you want, or something like that. You can create this card using 4 of your resources to copy that effect and use it, which, I mean, power to you. The biggest problem with this card, though, is that it can only use its own effect once while it's on the field, not once per turn. If you summon this card once while it is face up on the field, you get to do this. It doesn't matter that it took 3 resources. It doesn't matter that it has 3 units underneath it. You can use this once, right? So like if it was a permanent yoink, like just a permanent steal, or even a turn by turn steal, I'd be down for that, but like that's just not good. Chronometer Saw Monolith, it gets points just because its name is Saul, but on top of that, it will let you change any other Chronometer monster you control to level 6. So if you get this on the field, because Chronometers can special summon super easy, get this on the field, and then turn another monster to level 6, you free Xyz Summon, rank 6. Problem is, you can only summon Chronometer monsters when you use this effect. I actually like this card for a different reason, because with the skill Divine Artifacts, you can reveal this card in your hand, make all monsters you control level 6, and you can summon any level 6 you want. So it's actually more useful in the hand than it is on the field. So for that reason, I'm willing to give it a B. I'm willing to give it a B. It has mediocre stats. You're not summoning it for that. It's specifically to be used for something else. So yeah, I don't remember this card's name. I'm not going to look it up. I'm pretty sure if you normal summon this card, you can special summon a level 5 monster from your graveyard. You can probably only make Chronometer monsters with it after you use this effect. I don't really care. It's not good. It's not good, and don't use it. Please stay away. Different Dimension Dragon is really weird. It can, so you know how most cards say that, you know, you can't target this card? This card says that you can only destroy me with a spell or a trap if you specifically target me. Lightning Vortex doesn't work, but like everything else does. And on top of that, it has 1200 attack, and it can't be destroyed by a monster with 1900 or less attack, if I'm not mistaken. I hope I'm remembering that correctly. The weird thing about that is, I mean, I guess the point of this is to summon it and leave it on the field and hope that it makes it to the next turn, so that way maybe you can use it for like an XYZ summon or something. But that just, I mean, I get it, go off, I guess, but like no, I don't like that. I don't even know, all these cards down here are bad. I don't even know what order they're bad in, but they're all bad. ZW Eagle Claw. Number 6 Chronometer Atlantis, the face card of the pack of the box. Now, this is the level 6 Chronometer monster. You need Chronometer monsters to make it, if I'm not mistaken. This card says that when it's summoned, if there's a number monster in the graveyard, so you must have already Xyz summoned to use this effect, you can get it out of your graveyard, equip it to this card, and then it gains half of the original attack. Then you can send that card that's equipped to the graveyard to cut your opponent's life points in half, which won't kill them. This effect literally cannot kill them, and you can't conduct your battle phase the turn you use this effect. So this card is bad. It's got decent stats, and you can get some decent attack power out of it, but like you don't want to do this. You don't want to do this is the thing. Right? And also, you can't use it turn 1. You can't use it out of the gate because it only works with a number monster specifically in the graveyard. So like, this card has 2000 defense, double any battle damage your opponent takes when battling this card. I'm assuming you're supposed to put it face down and let them crash into it. Cool. Now this card, Babylon, I think goes in the upper echelons. S might be an overstatement. No, but I know I like it. I like it in S, and here's why. It's a field spell, which means you can use it every single turn if you had the ability to. You can banish a Chronometer monster in your graveyard and special summon a monster that has the same level as a banished monster, right? So let's say things have gone wrong and you're late into the game. Every single turn, once per turn, if you've got enough resources in the graveyard, this is a free special summon from the graveyard of a monster of any level, so long as you have 2 monsters of that same level in the graveyard. Does that make sense? Like if you've got 2 level 4s, then you can summon a level 4. If you've got a level 3 and a level 4, you can't special summon anything. But it's relatively easy to get level 3s into the graveyard with Chronometers. And also, if your monster dies, like an Xyz monster, all of those cards go to the graveyard. So you know there's that. I very much like it for its recovery potential. I know it's not something you can use early game, so it loses points for that, and it's it's situational to the monsters you have in the graveyard, but I feel like through the course of a duel, if you pilot the deck with a relative degree of skill, you can somewhat control this, especially if you're keeping it in mind, and it's searchable using one of the Chronometer cards that we'll get to later. There's a lot of pros to this card. There's a lot of pros. I feel like it's either a low S or a high A, but then again, we're comparing it to the other cards in this box, and so yeah. This is an equip card. Tribute one XYZ monster and summon a monster from your extra deck in the end phase, if I'm not mistaken, that is a number monster that is one rank lower than the tributed monster. Now, that's not anything insane, but let's say you run out of overlay units or something like that and you want to get a different monster on the field. This could be used for that, but again, it's only limited to the end phase, so it's not like you can attack with the monster and then special summon a different monster and attack again. It's only during the end phase, so you couldn't even use the effect of the monster that you summon unless it's a quick play effect. We don't have any monsters currently in the game that I think would make it super worth it, but I felt like it was worth mentioning. It's not as bad as some of the other cards, so I'm willing to put it in D. Release Reverse Burst just lets you tribute a Utopia monster, destroy all of your opponent's set spells and traps, but like they'll probably activate them before you get to this point, but whatever. Unbreakable Spirit, one of your monsters can gain attack equal to the attack of the lowest attack point monster that your opponent controls, which I don't know why that gives you an Unbreakable Spirit. If anything, you would be copying the highest attack monster, but hey, get down how you get down, I guess. If they only control one monster, boom, you're beating over it. So at least there's that, I suppose. I just read this card, Xyz Extreme, and it's just so convoluted. It's a fun interaction. You and your opponent both reveal an extra deck monster after one of your XYZ monsters is destroyed, and I think whoever reveals a monster with lower attack takes attack point, they take effect damage that's like half the difference in their attack, which isn't good. That's not a good effect, but like it's an interesting interaction with your opponent. There's a lot of D rank cards. Crystal Skull, if you control a Chronometer monster, you can discard this card from your hand, search out the deck for a different Chronometer monster. I'm gonna put that in A tier, reason being, I've played around with Chronometers, and this is a good effect. It's a good search card, but if you only open this and you don't have a Chronometer monster to like, it's weird, right? Because if you have two of this, and obviously you can summon one, then discard one and everything, but like it just doesn't feel, it doesn't feel S tier in my opinion. It feels good, but in my Nebra Disk should have been the S tier card. I guess with that we can talk about Nebra Disk. I don't mean S tier card. I meant it should have been the UR card. My bad. Right? Nebra Disk is just so good. You can normal summon this card and you search out your deck. So it's searching in the way that Crystal Skull does, but it's not from the hand. But again, Skull only works if you control a monster, so you would have had to normal summon anyway. So this is searching your deck out for any Chronometer card, not just monsters. You can get the spells, and if you were playing the trap for whatever reason, you can get that too. So that's really good. Then if this card is in the graveyard, you can control Chronometer monster on the field, special summon it from the graveyard as well, but you can only activate Chronometer effects, and you can only summon Chronometer monsters the turn you activate this effect. So if you activated something else, you can't use this effect, but if you haven't, this is just a free special summon, so it searches your deck out, it summons itself from the grave, it has decent enough stats. This, in my opinion, is the core card of the deck. I absolutely love it. Junk Puppet, special summon a gimmick puppet monster from the graveyard. They do that well enough themselves. They didn't need you, but I guess I'm glad you're here to an extent. I didn't need to make that so convoluted, but hey. Hayek as a quick play can reduce your opponent's attack to 0, right? Pretty cool. And on top of that, you can tribute another Chronometer monster that you control, and you can destroy a face-up opponent's monster that has 0 attack, which is, I mean, that's cool, I guess. And Chronometers needed a level 4, but only Chronometers can make it, so it's not even generic. That's not crazy. It's a quick play Paladynamo without the negation effect, and if it wasn't side by side with an objectively better monster, maybe I'd like it, but let's just move on. Gorgonic Guardian. You know how I said the King of Heavy Industry might be the best card? It's Gorgonic Guardian. I lied to you. Now, this as a quick play can reduce your opponent's attack to 0, one of their monsters, but it also negates their effects for the rest of the turn. It's a quick play Paladynamo. The full effect of Paladynamo. It takes 2 level 3 rock monsters, which very specific, but if you're able to make it, that's just beautiful to me, right? And I mean, that's less specific than 2 level 4 Chronometer monsters, so I mean, have at ye. This card is really good because if it's your turn, not as a quick play, you can destroy a monster on the field that has 0 attack. So you can reduce your opponent's monster's attack to 0 and then destroy it all in one go. And that's just really, really good. That's really, really good. And I wish that more decks could make it. Diamond Crab King. It has 3000 defense and 0 attack. Its effect is to give itself 3000 attack and 0 defense, and then it puts itself in defense position in the end phase and regains its 3000 defense, which, I mean, hey, that's interesting, I guess. The problem is if it's attacked while it has no XYZ materials, it changes itself to attack position, so it's basically a direct attack. So I'm gonna give you C tier just because it's a fun generic level 4, but like, no. Acid Golem, 2 level 3s, and actually some of the first decent rank 3 support that we've gotten. It's got 3000 attack, it's a massive beater, super easy to make. Only problem is you can't special summon other monsters while you control this one. On top of that, you take 1000 damage each turn, or you have to remove an XYZ material from this card, right? You have to remove one of your units, and the problem with that is if this card has no units, it can't attack. So it can get very useless very quickly, but if you're able to, I don't know, pawn this off to your opponent somehow, then they're taking the life point damage and they can't attack, which might be kind of cool. I saw that online somewhere, but I don't remember where. I think it was on Duel Links meta, but I could be wrong. On top of that, I mean, just the fact that it's so easy to make it is some of the first good generic rank 3 support that we've gotten. I mean, not the first. We have gotten good generic rank 3 support. It's just interesting. This is more power. It's just brute force more so than anything else, and I kind of like that. So I'm going to leave you at B. I'll throw you a bone. And then this is a ZW card, but it's an SR, so maybe it does something, but probably not. Alright, so that's my tier list. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed yourself. Let me know your thoughts on the box down below, having fun with it. And that's basically everything for me. If you enjoyed the video, do consider subscribing. It really does help out the channel. And if you leave a like, it lets me know that you enjoy these conversational ranking type videos that I do. With that being said, I hope you have a wonderful day. I love you, and goodbye.